Hi, this is Mike Maloney with Jeff Clark once again. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. Great to be back with you, of course, this week. And we've got another full schedule here: article of the day, tweet of the day, chart of the day, some viewer feedback that's interesting, and a great meme. So stick around for that. So we're going to jump right in. And here's our article of the day. And this is an article that says pension funds foresee price increase in precious metals. And it's based on a study. And this kind of caught my interest. I thought, wow, this is interesting that pension funds, some of which are government, but most of which are private, are jumping into gold and saying they see an increase in the gold price. And this was a survey that was done over in Europe, and 85% expect the price of gold to increase over the next 12 months. But then, Mike, I read the next line: as jewelry consumption rebounds fully in line with a global economic recovery. That's why they think the gold price is going to go up. Excuse me, newsflash: gold price does not go up based on jewelry demand. The number one reason for the increase or decrease in the price of gold is investment demand. This is very clear. And I'll point out, last year, gold was up almost 25%, and jewelry demand fell through the floor. So it obviously
Right.
was not related.
That was going to be my comment, is that rising prices curtail jewelry demand. They don't propel it, they curtail it. So jewelry demand falls as the price of gold goes up. But it is interesting because you have been writing about pension funds, and the day that those units of currency start trying to land on the same tiny little pile of gold that everybody is trying to get a piece of, this is huge. And as these pension funds investigate the precious metals market more, they're going to come into it more and more and more. And this is a flood of dollars that gold, and especially the silver markets, can't take without prices going up enormously.
Yes, very much so. I'll have to update that research and show it, because there have been some institutions coming into the gold market, but boy, there's a lot more that's still on the sidelines, and that's going to increase demand dramatically and thus prices. So, well, on to our tweet of the day, Mike, and I like this one. This is from Brian Nichols, and it shows how much lumber you could buy last year versus how much lumber you could buy this year. And you see on the left there, in the fall of 2020, what $1,000 would buy you in lumber, and then the pile on the right, in May of 2021, what $1,000 in lumber would buy you. And you can see it's dramatically less what you can buy now, just showing how much the lumber price has gone up. What's your reaction to
Right.
that picture, Mike?
Well, actually, I'm trying to the farm that I bought in Puerto Rico. There's hurricane damage, and I have to do repairs, and I've got to build some new structures, and so I'm in need of lumber. So this is actually hitting. This is something personal for me. But what I notice here, fall of 2020 versus May. So this is less than a year.
Yeah,
This isn't
exactly.
even a full year, and the amount of lumber, the uh, amount that the price went up. I mean, look at the difference in what you get for $1,000. I'm seeing this, in Puerto Rico, a lot of the houses are made from cement. But when you make a cement house, you first build a wooden house and you pour cement into it, and then you take the wood away. And you can now rent all of the plywood to build the forms out of instead of buying it. And we have
Wow.
chosen to lease the forms to be able to repair some of these structures, because it's gone from, I mean, the difference I think is $6 or $8 a sheet for leasing it versus 80. So it's about 10 times more to actually buy it. So, yeah, this is hitting me personally, but this is what people have to get ready for, because this trickles down slowly. One of the contractors that I'm using to rebuild the gatehouse, I call it. It's a place where some of the workers are going to be living and so on. That contractor would not give a bid on the house that included the materials. He said, "I'll bid on my labor, but I'm too afraid of losing on this deal and going bankrupt trying to build this house if I give a bid on materials also. You buy the materials, I'll supply the labor." And so that is what this raging inflation has done to us, but it takes a while to show up. It has to work its way through the supply chain. So we are going to see pretty soon retail prices everywhere going out of control. But remember, inflation is transitory.
Yeah. Famous last words. We'll be saying that in a few months, I think.
Right. And so that sort of leads us into our next piece here, right? That the prices
Yeah,
are
we're going to
going up
continue with
everywhere.
the inflation theme. But first, if you're liking this video, please hit the like button down there below for us and the notification bell as well to subscribe to the channel. And yes, this is our tweet of the day, Mike. And this shows, or excuse me, our chart of the day. This is from Professor Michael Tantrum, if I'm saying it right, Michael. MENA disruption. MENA is an acronym, stands for Middle East, North Africa, geographical area that's sometimes labeled that way. MENA disruption 2021, food prices surged at the same level as the onset of the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring started back in 2010, major disruptions over there, some of which was violent. And of course, food prices surged in response to that. And yet this chart shows that food prices are surging now as well, almost matching what happened back then. So Mike, inflation, consumer price inflation is not just a North American phenomenon. This appears to be clearly a global phenomenon.
Yes. And, in one of the episodes of Hidden Secrets of Money, I interview Max Kaiser, and he said that when food prices reach a certain percentage, I think it was like 60% of somebody's income, that's where the risk-reward ratio between revolution and not having revolution tips toward the balance of having a revolution. Maybe it was 80% of a family's income being spent to food. I think it was 60%, something like that. But anyway, you can see that's what happened with the Arab Spring. I had been in Egypt just like a month before that Arab Spring happened. I didn't realize that that was what was going on. It seemed like everybody was trying to scam us and get as much cash as they could out of us. I didn't realize that they were basically, the government was causing the people to starve. That was what was going on. And so they were fighting for their lives, basically. And at a certain point, the risk-reward ratio does tip toward revolution. So as inflation rages, we could see more civil unrest around the globe.
Yeah, that's a good point. Inflation doesn't happen in a vacuum, and there are consequences to it. So good point. Well, Mike, on to some viewer feedback. And before I read this, you did a video last week on gold and silver versus platinum and palladium. You were making that distinction. And in response to that video, this is Pro Paycheck said, I got a platinum coin with a queen's portrait on it that disagrees with you, Mike. What do you think of that? I think I know what you're going to say.
Pro Paycheck, first of all, Pro Paycheck, a paycheck is an IOU with somebody's signature on it, right? And usually those IOUs are good. If a company's going out of business, no. I've seen companies write paychecks that end up, they don't have the cash in the bank when people go to cash them. But got a platinum coin with the Queen's portrait on it. So I guess that makes it money, right? The Queen's portrait that disagrees with you. Or is it the fact that they'll put this is the Queen's portrait, so it's probably got if he's from Canada, it would have Canadian dollar face value on the back. If he's from England, or it could be the Aussie dollar. The Queen's portrait is used all over, but that does not necessarily make it money. What makes it money is two things. It's got to be all of these things: portable, durable, divisible, fungible. It's got to be fungible means all of the units are interchangeable. It's got to be a medium of exchange. So it's got to be used as a currency also. And that's what currency is. Money is all of those things plus a store of value. And, I was just on the Federal Reserve's website and they've got the purchasing power of the dollar going all the way back to 1913. And here, they're using items like the CPI, but they show a greater than 96% loss of purchasing power. So you're talking about only 4% of the original purchasing power being left. By the way, I want to compliment the Federal Reserve on their management of the purchasing power of the US dollar, only losing 94% for us. But if it doesn't satisfy, so show me when platinum has been used as a medium of exchange. Where on earth has that happened throughout history? And if it probably does have a face value on the back. If that is the case that makes it money, in his opinion, then I suggest paying your taxes with it. I'll bet the face value is like $50 or $100 or something like that. And in the United States, you can use gold eagles to pay your taxes, but you're only going to get $50 per ounce. It would be crazy to do so. But that's one of the things that makes it legal tender in the United States. But is it legal tender or is it money? That's the difference. Money must be a store of value. And platinum, it bounces up and down, but platinum is mostly a catalyst. That's what it's used for. It's industrial demand. It's never been used as money. And so I would still maintain that platinum, palladium, rhodium, these are not money. They've never been money, and they never will be money.
Right. Platinum and palladium do not do well in recessions because they are primarily industrial metals. They don't do well in stock market crashes. But the bottom line is, Mike is right. There's a difference between money and currency. This is currency. It's not money because it lacks that store of value. So, well, Mike, on to our meme of the day. But before we get to that, if you've not read Mike's book or watched Hidden Secrets of Money, he talks about money versus currency in episode 1 of Hidden Secrets of Money. It's also in his book, which you can get for free. We'll have the link here down below. So, well, Mike, give us this great meme of the day.
Okay, this is a great one with the president having dinner, and there's a little kid there, and it says "Future Generations" on his T-shirt. So this is passing on our reckless deficit spending to future generations. Order whatever you like, he's buying.
Right.
And that's what we've been doing. I want to thank everybody for watching. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Mike. See you next time.